What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Bryce Benjamin podcast. Appreciate you guys tuning in again. Thank you. Love you guys. Appreciate you. Love you. On today's episode, I brought in my man Connor Wilson. And glad I did, man. It was a really awesome conversation that we had. My man, he wears his religion on his sleeve, and I respect it so much, and hearing him talk and divulge into that, but then also hearing how that also has ventured off into different avenues that he's taken, like him becoming an author and writing the book, and how he views the world and everything of that nature there. Really awesome conversation. We talked about a bunch of different topics, man, and I think you guys are definitely going to enjoy it as you're listening through it. But without further ado, I want y'all to give some love to my guest today, my man Connor Wilson. Connor.
Hey.
What's going on, man?
What's up?
Not much. How you been?
I'm all right. Can you hear me all right? Am I good?
Yeah, you perfect.
Cool.
So what's going on? I haven't seen you in a while. It's been
new.
new.
How long has it been, do you think?
How long has it been?
Maybe even
About
over
a year and a half?
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, it's definitely over a year.
Last time I seen you was at Tuxedo Junction.
Right.
You was working. I was at the mall.
Right.
We talked for like 30 minutes.
Yeah.
That was the last time I can remember. I think that was last year.
Yikes.
It's been about a year. Not too long.
Yeah, not too long.
Yeah.
And you're all over Facebook and stuff, so I see you there, and I listen in every now and then.
Yeah, man. Appreciate that, by the way.
Of course.
Good to have you on the show.
I have like zero knowledge or interest in sports, so like I can't listen to like most of your content, but whenever you branch outside of that, I'm there.
I appreciate that, man. Yeah, that's why I started this one, really, for just to have like anybody on. Mm-hmm. You know, people that I've had good conversations with in the past, and I know that will be good episodes. Try to get them on. Everything good with you, though? Anything new?
Man.
Look good.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Appreciate it.
Keeping
You
in
too.
shape.
Trying. I mean, I kind of stopped working out when I got this new gig at Wegmans. When I was working at Tuxedo Junction, it's so much free time.
Yeah.
Because they only put you for like 10 hours a week or whatever. and then I would work out like 3 hours a day for 5 days a week and just like go hard. And now Wegmans is like, oh, you're available? We're working you.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, but that keeps me in shape still because, like, I'm working at the sub shop and it's always busy and it's always crazy and I'm always running around and carrying heavy things and I leave and I'm like, feel like I have more of a workout than when I was boxing.
Yeah, I feel you on that one, man.
Feel more beat up too.
They say Wegmans is one of the, like, whenever people are talking about jobs, Wegmans is usually, like, right at the top, like, amongst every job.
That's true.
Is it really that good of a place to work?
It's got its ups and downs. I mean, I think I have a unique experience being in the sub shop because it's by far the busiest department.
I kind of figured.
And although the thing is, we're currently pretty understaffed, but the managers who like help run the whole store will sometimes like just jump in and help make subs.
That's what's
And
up.
it's like never have I had a job where it's like I worked in concessions before Tuxedo Junction too, like when I was in high school. Never would like a higher up like jump in to like take orders, you know?
Right.
And it's like, no, they're doing that. They're really like out here helping people.
You know, when I was a manager at Tuxedo Junction, that was one of the things I wanted to make sure I do. Mm-hmm. Not just is tell employees what to do, but show them how to do it. You know what I mean?
And be there with them too.
Right, exactly.
Right.
Don't not necessarily trying to be a boss, but be a leader.
Exactly.
Yeah,
There's
not
a
so
big
many
difference.
Yeah, not so many people do that.
You lead by serving, you know.
Yeah, you lead by example. Like simple as that. That's what's up, though, man. Anything else going on with you, man?
I'm still in school.
Okay, what you going to school for?
I'm studying journalism.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know if I'm going to use that, but
No.
that's what I'm hoping just to graduate with that. Just want to like cash out, you know. It's like college is just a big gamble, and after a certain amount of time you just want to like cash out and get what you paid for, you know.
Yeah, I feel you on that one. What type of journalism are you thinking?
I mean,
Because you can that can venture out in many different branches. You can like do sports, you can do like movies.
right. I mean, in terms of, you know, I can talk about movies till I'm blue in the face.
Oh
but,
yeah, but trust me, we're gonna do that.
Yeah, I'm hoping for it. But in terms of career, I mean, I've been writing a lot.
Yeah,
And so I kind of want to just do that, like do a creative thing.
just like freelance writing.
No, I mean, I wrote like a book over the summer.
Really?
Yeah. And I wrote like a lot. And then I was supposed to like edit it over this semester, but my schedule got out of hand. So I had to put it like on the shelf for now. But yeah, I just want to see that through. I just want to be like, oh, like I realized over the summer, like I love this and I'm going to be an author. But other than, like, I know that's probably not like the best like forefront plan. It's like saying I'm going to go to LA and be an actor. It's like, no, you're not. And so other than that though, I mean, I've been pretty active in like, in campus ministry work. And so I want to continue that into my adult career.
Yeah.
Because it's something that I think is needed now.
Mm-hmm.
But we can get into that if you want. But
yeah, talk about it, man.
yeah, I mean, we'll just jump right in. I mean, I worked at Tuxedo Junction for, almost 2 years. Mm-hmm. It was a job that I got hired at, and I was like, I'll have this job until I find another one. And then I just didn't, and I just stuck around forever. Quick shout out to Dree, Gabby, Zach, Nancy, Hannah, Bernie, Nick, Christian, Alex, Arrington, and Ajani.
Shout out to the crew.
Shout out to the Tuxedo Junction family. They're all listening. I know it. No, but like, this is why I like loved listening to you reconnect with Alex, is because me and him talked a lot when we were working at the McKinley location. It was literally like an empty mall, and there was just like two young men in a store in suits having like the most intellectual debate ever, because me and him disagree on things, but like we both are so level-headed that we come to each other like we want to learn,
right?
And we want to be constructive, and we both agree on the fundamental, which is that there's an objective truth, which actually is debatable these days. But we both are like, hey, there's like a true world we all live in, and we want to discover that together. But yeah, when me and Alex started like talking and stuff, I was just like, I was really frustrated with like worldviews overall. I was not finding anything that like really answered everything. And then and at the same time I was going through some rough stuff in my personal life. Yeah. And I mean, you guys were all there for that. And I was probably venting to you guys a lot for that kind of stuff.
Yeah. I mean, you was going through it. I remember that.
I was going through it. And the most person probably know is Zach Samarin, who me and him worked many shifts together alone when I was going through the worst of it, and I would just like rant, and he was a good ear to have. So shout out to him especially. But yeah, I was going through it, so like my life was being miserable, and I just like could not find meaning in the world. Yeah. And so I was always like studying like the Bible just like as a scholar, like sort of the way Alex does, at least the way he's told me. I don't want to put words in his mouth or anything. But bumped the table.
You're good.
But then I eventually was just like, after a lot of like research and like emotional struggle and stuff, I realized like, damn, like this is all pretty like for real, and I better like get it together. And so then I decided to like, all right, I'm gonna really like become a follower of Jesus. And I remember like me and Dree were working together at the what is it? Eastern Hills Mall. Mm-hmm. And she's like asked me just randomly about like, what do you think about like God or whatever? And I was like, oh, I'm a Christian. And then she was like, what? She seemed like shocked and kind of disappointed in me. And I was like, yo, I got a Bible in my backpack right now. I'll whip it out. And she's like, no, you're joking. And I'm like, yeah, for real. But yeah, I find that a lot of this stuff, Jesus and the Bible and Christianity, it's all so much more profound and interesting than people really give it credit for. There's like more straw men than you can shake a stick at. You know, there's so many toxic ideas out there. And I just was like, I want to study history. I want to study archaeology. I want to study like literature and like get to the bottom of this. And I feel like, I mean, I'm still learning, but I've concluded in like many important ways. Like now my life really does have meaning. Yeah. Where it's like, I'm just going to be loving people and loving others. And that's like it, you know.
I feel like it gave you that different avenue of looking at life.
Yeah. And it's like the story of the Bible concludes with just saying like, yo, everyone's trying to like earn something in life. Everyone's trying to like earn their salvation.
Find their purpose.
Yeah. And so it's like, I need to be great at this job, or I need to be a great father or husband or wife. And the truth is you don't really have to do any of that. Like, Jesus is like, does it all for you. Mm-hmm. And it's like faith in him that just like, oh, you're all good. And it's like, that's the kind of peace and rest that like everyone's striving for, is to be like, oh, it's all taken care of for me. I don't have to earn anything. And so that's something that I think especially young people need to hear. That's why I want to be like on college campuses, like telling people about this stuff, because everyone's got anxiety and depression and people are hurting themselves. And it's like, I mean, I was too. I only like my own personal story was like I was seriously depressed, and I was like going through it, and you know, I came out the other end just like, all right, I need to like see this through, and I need to just take my relationship with God more seriously. And I've helped a lot of other people on my campus, like who come to me, they're like, hey, I'm really dealing with depression, and I like tell them about Jesus and who he is, and they start like praying, reading, and feeling better, you know. And it's something that I'm like, all right, I think I can like make a career out of this, you know.
You think you might want to be a preacher?
I don't know about like podium preacher. I'm definitely I mean, I've been told I do good at the front of the room. I've done like preacher things.
Yeah.
But I'm apprehensive to do that. Whenever I'm at the front of the room and there's a bunch of eyes on me, I'm like, holy crap, you know. It's like the biggest reason I was like resistant to enter into any sort of like religious leadership is because I understand that far too many times in history, people like get so corrupted so easily by that position. People are like, oh, this person's a mouthpiece for God, therefore it's like whatever they say goes. And then people internalize that and they say, well, I can say whatever. You even see that today, people who are like on TV in front of like millions of people, like saying all sorts of crazy stuff. And it's like people believe it because they think, oh, well, this person's close with God. And
they use God and Jesus to sell.
Yeah, they use it to sell, and they project their own like ideas into like the Bible, which I don't find helpful at all.
Yeah, sort of putting their spin on what things are being said and take advantage of people that don't necessarily read it. Exactly.
And people feel like, oh, I can't read it. And it's like, I think it's evident like God made the Bible to be accessible to people. And it's far more accessible than people treat it like this weird, like it's a Necronomicon, like it's this mystical book that they can't dare open or understand. But I mean, I've been studying it for like 2-3 years now. And it's like every book is like claims when and where and who wrote it, you know, most of them. And they're like, and then we have like easily to access like historians who are like, oh yeah, this came from this area, this came from that area, you know, and like they wrote it in this historical context, so you should read this way and not that way. You know, there's a lot of material out there, but I feel like people are so easy to just like ignore so much. I think we've really forgotten like how to critically read stuff as a culture. Yeah, like take historical context into consideration, take authorial intent into consideration. People just read what's there and then project their own thing into it. I don't think there's anything that's a greater example of that than the Bible. So,
but also, do you think that like with the Bible and interpreting the Bible and whatnot, because a lot of it can be confusing if you're reading it, definitely. You know what I mean? So I think that's also what people can do as well, is put their own interpretation on what the Bible may mean, right? As opposed to what, you know, you may think it means, or you know what I'm saying? Because there's not, you look at it, there's a lot of different versions of the Bible.
That's true.
And then there's a lot of different wordings in the Bible. So then like sometimes somebody will say something, and then you read that same section and it says something completely different. You know what I mean? So
I think there's a lot that's very explicit, like Jesus walks around for like 3 years just telling people like explicit like how to live their life. And there's like a lot of stuff that's so people read as like ambiguous of like when and where is this referring to? Does this apply to me? Does this apply to them? I think they're all great conversations to have, but I think over the course of like 2,000 so years, especially now, we have so much knowledge of like archaeology, early church history, and Jewish culture and all of this stuff, and we really can like, I think anyone who's like interested in actually answering those questions can answer them fairly easily with like modern access to information. At least that's what I've discovered. Like I just had the question of like, why does God allow bad things to happen to good people? And you just like research that for like a half hour. And it's like, all right, there it is. Got it. Like it's the book of Job. Just
right there. Yeah.
Right. And so yeah, I mean, there's this like ambiguity that people like to, you know, oh, his way or her way. But, I feel like people like the Bible's pretty clear on a lot of things. It's just like, I don't know. Yeah. It's less ambiguous. And most of like the different translations and stuff, they're all